Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Sex appeal goes beyond looks. Sex appeal goes beyond looks. And you know what? Once again, I need to make that separation. As I always say, I'm more of a sex coach than a dating coach. And yes, I've been doing a lot of handsome man videos lately, but my purpose is always been to, in general, help men to self-develop, but also to develop their sexual power, their sexual confidence. And then that actually is connected to succeeding in life. There's a correlation between a man's sexual energy and his drive to do the different things that he does in life to succeed. All right, so that's me. But I'm gonna just focus today on just talking about just the sex appeal. It goes beyond what simply you look like. That's indeed a big issue with many handsome men thinking, well, all these women say I'm handsome and all of that, but then they still having trouble with women. That's because they're not turning the women on sexually. Like they can look at a man and say, oh yeah, he got great aesthetics and all of that. Heck, he can even be a model. But as y'all know, I've talked about this several times before, but I always get new people. I said, let me remind everybody. But it's still the difference if you were to look at objectively, just objectively, two different types of men. One is a fashion model. And then the other is a porn star. There's a different thing, even as a man. Now, you know, I say it's hard to judge another man, but you can still get a general feeling. It's a general look that each one will have. Like the typical porn star, they'll maybe have a more robust physical build and stuff. You can't help but see that. Whereas the fashion models, you know, they're slim. They're slim, let's be real. For the most part, they walk in clothes hangers and everything. So it's a big difference. One is more definitely aesthetic. The other one might look a bit more rough. So there's a difference there. But see, it's not just the physicality. See, understand something about your physical looks. They're passive. You don't have to do anything for it. Yeah, maybe to build up the look, but you think about it, it's just like a rose or something. The rose don't do anything. It don't move. It don't wiggle around. It doesn't take any action. It just looks pretty. Like if you're talking about just pure looks, okay, you look at someone, that's a passive thing. But see, for sex appeal, the key to masculine sex appeal is a man who takes action, a man who's dominant. It's more the intangibles, you know, it's more the action. It's more the action. Like when women get turned on by a guy, really turned on, if you really pay attention to women and who they respond to, it's not always just that guy, it just looks good. In most cases, there's some exceptions, and I'll get into that in my next live video. I'll get into that. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, the man has to do something to be considered sexy. He has to take action. It's about how he's engaging a woman. How is he looking at her? Is he behaving in a dominant manner? You know, it's about what he's saying. Well, not even so much what he's saying, but how he say it, the tone of his voice. All the active qualities of the man. Because what they always say, women will always say. The women will meet a guy and they say, oh yeah, he cute, handsome, whatever they're going to say about his aesthetics. But then they'll talk to him or look at his actions and they'll say he was all right till he opened his mouth. He was all right till he opened his mouth, you know. And like I said, there's an exception I'll get into in the next video, next live video on Monday. But that's the thing. You see, a lot of guys, what's happening with a lot of men, particularly ones that have been called handsome. Okay, yeah, they've been called handsome and, you know, whether they are or not to the actual, you know, sometimes they'll just say that. Sometimes women will make a general comment, but the woman's still not wet. You got to take action. Like the example I like to use for men to really understand it, right? say a woman is really physically attractive, really physically, like great bone structure and everything, but she doesn't behave in a feminine manner. It's like a lot of lesbians, butch lesbians. If you look at their aesthetics, a whole lot of them, their aesthetics, if they were female or more feminine, would be very attractive if they dressed up, you know. But you see them, right? Despite their aesthetics, they wear mannish clothes. They behaving in a more masculine manner. A normal man isn't going to be turned on by it. It's the same thing with women. Okay, say how they looking at a man. Say they're looking at a man, but he's real passive. You know, he's passive, or even acting effeminate. They're not going to be turned on. See, a woman, she wants the pure masculine energy. Understand something about sex. Ultimately, it's the interplay of masculine and feminine energy. It's the interplay. And that's how it really works. Even in same-sex relationships, somebody has to be the masculine part, somebody has to be the feminine part. So that's just a universal law. So the main thing that really contributes to a man's sex appeal is his masculinity. Now also his charisma, and just by the charisma, it just means how does he connect emotionally? So that plays a part. His attitude towards sex, his attitude. Like he can physically look good to a woman, physically, but he's sexually repressed for whatever reason. And so all of a sudden it's like, well, hold up, this dude ain't gonna come in here. He's not sexually confident. He's not gonna come in here and take charge. He's not gonna come in there and flip the woman around and everything. You know, he's not gonna have that attitude. So, you know, ultimately that's what it comes down to with sex appeal is the intangibles. That's why women can look at two different men and see one is sexy and the other one is just good looking. In fact, say you have two twins who both have model, like model looks and all of that, right? Both of them. Now, one women will look at it and say, yeah, he all right, he can be a good friend. The other one, shoot, they getting wet on the spot. But the only difference is their behavior, how they behaving with that woman. You know, how they carry themselves. Are they taking charge? Are they being aggressive? Are they being sexually aggressive? You know, are they that type is going like, come here, girl. Come on over here, girl. Are they going to be that type? You know, and see, that's the thing that men have to understand. There's a lot of men. Indeed, and I've said this before, even in that thing called game, it really just comes down to sex appeal. That's why I will say, if a man develop his sex appeal, his sexual energy, shit, he can run any type of game. I'm gonna say game. Let's just strategy, street smarts, whatever, because the woman is turned on sexually. And like I said, it's not just how he looks. It's not just how he looks. It's more about his actions, how he's behaving, how is he talking. Is he speaking in a confident manner? Is his body language saying confident? You know, all of those things. All of those things. She's looking at all of those things. That's why you get a situation where so many men, otherwise handsome, can go out with a woman and she's like, yeah. And then she'll hook up with that guy she might call ugly sexy or something. Because ugly sexy guy, key word, sexy. Key word, sexy. He's dominant. He's like, come here, girl. You know, bending over like, whose is this? Whose is this? And stuff. He's making the move. He's like, boom. He's not like, oh, please, can I do this? Okay, do I have permission to do this? Please, that turn off a woman. So that's the key thing. That's the key thing. Always understand that. And yeah, I'm going to do another video on it. That's why I talk about sex. You know, if you're talking about a relationship, it comes down to sex. And let me say something about that real quick, because every now and then you get somebody who says, well, things have changed. And, you know, we got this and that. It still comes down to a man and woman being butt naked in a bedroom. Sex hasn't changed in millions of years. Sex itself hasn't changed. The penis still goes in the vagina. And for some of y'all freakier, kinkier people, other hoes as well. So, that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. Other than a major mutation from some, I don't know, some comet or something, or some solar flare. It's going to stay that way. And if people get down to that, no matter what, everything else, I don't care what technology changed, I don't care what culture changed, I don't care about none of that. None of that matters. It's still penis and vagina, okay? So if you, it's still certain behaviors that will get a man to be seen as sexy by a woman. Just like a man looking at a woman. Like a key part of her behavior to be seen as sexy to a man is simply being receptive. Receptive, which is a feminine trait, which is passive. She's drawing the man. She's there, the man making his move, doing his thing. She's sitting there cooperating. That's a key thing. Because I guarantee it, like if a man tries to hook up with a woman and she's defensive, his joint might not work. A lot of erectile dysfunction isn't anything biological. It's just who the man's dealing with. It's more of a psychological thing. So just like that, so just like the man, the woman needs to be receptive. The man needs to be assertive. The penis is doing this. And so in his behavior, he has to show that he's assertive. That goes beyond just his looks. So anyway, that's all I have for now. I want y'all to really think about that. And I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.